Hi, welcome back. Me again. So we're going to start trying to go in alphabetical order, unless, of course, some news breaks, and then, I'll change for that week, that chapter. But um, just going back to the preface of the book a little bit. In the 2016 election, Donald Trump's slogan was "Make America Great Again," and I think that's still his slogan. If we're no longer great, what are our obstacles to greatness? So, some synonyms of the word great are enormous, huge, abundant, major league, ample. Ample, that's a good one, ample. But some antonyms are insignificant, ignorant. And last week we talked about being smart. What's the opposite of smart? Ignorant. So, limited, powerless, or undignified. Okay, so I think that as my whole mantra here has been, make America our America again. This is to the common regular folk like me. I'm a regular folk, regular gal. So just speaking to us, right? And this book is not an attack on either side. It's actually something for all of us, for all sides, because we are all America. We're not two Americas. We got to be one America, because if we're not one America, that divide will cripple us. So make America our America again, right? So I took this book and I put it it's a little kitschy, alphabetical order. Make America affordable, all the way down to Make America Zenith, right? So I go from A to Z. In hopes to give us strategies that will help us to make America our America again. So going to the first chapter, Make America Affordable Again, okay? For many people, and especially, the people that are watching this, you're just regular like me. If you're a multimillionaire, contribute to my channel. No, I'm kidding. Welcome. All people are welcome here. But if you're regular, affordability for things is difficult, So I want to quote Thomas Paine, because I thought he was like a perfect person to start this chapter with. When it can be said by any country in the world, my poor are happy, neither ignorant nor distress is found among them. My jails are empty of prisoners, my streets of beggars. The aged are not in want, the taxes are not oppressive. The rational world is my friend because I am the friend of happiness. When these things can be said, then may that country boast its constitution and government. And I think for so many years we really have been able to do that. But I think we're in a little bit of a crisis right now, and some of what's making it worse is our polarity, because I don't think any of us really want for our neighbors to want, to have need that can't be filled, And so we have to come together on this. I think what we all have to agree on is what we disagree on is how that should happen. But nobody wants anybody to want. I mean, unless you're a sociopath. Nobody listening here is a sociopath. So, it's how that delivery of service should be, how people can have their needs met. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the average salary in the country today is $57,652. Now, if you're listening and you're my friend, and you probably live in the New York area, and you're saying, that's not the average salary. Well, it's the average salary in the country. New York gets a little bit higher. It's still not, the average salary is not, terribly much higher than that here either, but it's definitely higher than that. But that's the average salary in America. Okay. According to the Census Bureau. I don't make these things up. Okay. Today, when I was growing up, I grew up in a great town. It's called Hicksville, Long Island. Yes, there is a town named Hicksville. And it was like Mayberry. It was a lovely town. I was so blessed that my parents bought a house there and were able to raise us there. And my mom didn't work until I was probably about 11, maybe 12. And she worked from the house a little bit. She sometimes typed things up for people. But it was a very part-time, vague kind of thing. But she went to work when I was like 12. Up until that point, it was only my dad, and we went on vacations, and we didn't lack, but he did not make that much money. I know what he earned, and it wasn't that much money, and it would not be in today's standard. My dad would have made less than that, and yet we were able to afford all of that. So the cost of living has gone up since that time. Even though my father, made less money, it was even less in terms of standards. And on that average salary of $57,652, I would not be able to afford the house that my parents raised us in. The house my parents, and it was 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a living room, a small kitchen, and a dining room that we used the kitchen and the dining room together. That was it. And we always had a little pool in the backyard. We always had, it was very lovely. That house today in Hicksville is over $500,000, right? A lot of money. And, I couldn't afford that. I really, honestly, and I make a lot more than that $57,000. I live on Long Island. But I live in a po town now. I live in a town that's it's a little further out on Long Island. It's in eastern Suffolk, and I love my house. It's absolutely beautiful. I love my neighborhood. I love my neighbors, but I couldn't afford a $500,000 house. I just couldn't. So anyway, according to Pew Research Center, a nonpartisan think tank, trends that are showing up in America is that Americans have had the same or less purchasing power over the last 40 years. That says a lot. So that means if you've gotten a raise, it really isn't a raise. It just helped you maintain the standard of living, but it wasn't necessarily a raise. And I can actually see that in my own life, And despite a very strong labor market, the wage and growth, that's lagging. And that's according to economists, not according to Mary Chepak. That's according to economists, right? So there was a guy in the 1950s. His name is Charles Wilson. And they actually made a movie about him. You may have seen it. I think it was Wilson's War or something. But anyway, he was the CEO of General Motors. And he, during that time, during his tenure there, he made, this was the 1950s, he made $586,000 a year. I'd like that salary today. But $586,000 was quite a lot of money back then. But if you would actually take that money and you would project it forward to today, that would not be the $30 million that most CEOs are making. He would be far lagging behind that. And so he would actually have been considered like, a failure. That in today's standards, I think, comes to about $6 million, which is still not hayseed. It's pretty good money. And with that being pretty good money, with that extra $24 million that he wouldn't have taken, that money during that day, if you're thinking back to General Motors in the 1950s, people that worked for General Motors lived well. They had nice houses and nice cars. They lived the American dream, right? But today, that's not what's happening. And so, Charles Wilson, if he lived today and he only took $6 million and he worked for a big company, one of the big Fortune 500 people that would normally be making $30 million, that would be $24 million that would be sent out across the country or across the company that he worked for, right? I'm not advocating socialism here, so don't turn me off as though I'm a socialist. I'm not. I'm just saying that sometimes enough, they've even actually done studies about this, that sometimes enough money, you have a certain amount of money, and even if you have more than that, doesn't equate to more happiness, just equates to more money, And yeah, lots of money is a good thing. I mean, hey, I could use a trip to Aruba every week, lots of money is great. But as I started out with this little conversation here, is that there are people that are hurting and there are people that are lacking. And so those people that are hurting and those people that are lacking because they're not necessarily getting paid as much. And there's if the average person in Charles Wilson's day that was a CEO was making $586,000 and would now, in today's standards, be making $6 million. The regular worker is not making that. Okay, the regular worker, as I just stated, according to Pew Research, and the wage growth has not come along. It's basically been stagnant for the last 40 years. So, people at the top, as we know, are making money, and I don't disagree with the people at the top making money. I don't even mind people making more money than me. That's fine. Take me out for a drink every so often. I'd not be unhappy, but but we do have to think about society as a whole. So, quoting my buddy John F. Kennedy again, if a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. George Bush said, he voiced his opinion, and he said, the American dream means giving it your all, trying your hardest, accomplishing something, and then I'd add to that, giving something back. No definition of a successful life can do anything but include serving others. And so we do have to think about each other. So in this great divide that we have right now, we hear different perspectives on this issue, but even Republican Bush and Democrat Kennedy had very similar views, right? So whatever your view is, besides making it fact-based, make it compassionate and make it realistic, So that's my thought for the day in making our America again and taking it back. Let's make it affordable. So, okay, thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.